Hello, everybody. Hope you're doing well. It's currently 5 o'clock. It's been a minute. Man, I'm so happy to be back. I'm in such a good mood. It is kind of stupid. But firstly, uh, I hope you're having a good day. And if not, and I hope you've had a wonderful week. And if not, well, guess what? We get a little bit of time to ourselves today to do something that we love. And we're going to spend that learning art. So, where have I been? I've been at home. I went to my hometown for the weekend, or for the week. Um, was taking care of my family's house, was just generally relaxing and enjoying my spring break. I actually wish. Okay, so I've been having problems streaming at home, hence my reluctance to come home a little bit. Because my internet at my home sucks. It sucks so bad it drops every couple of seconds, or so I thought. I on Friday, the last day I was there, at my home, my internet was cutting out as per usual. Like I couldn't even watch I couldn't even be on Discord with my friends. It was that bad. I was like, what if I connect to the network I set up for my bird cam? Because I have a AR300M in my room, a little repeater slash router. I set it up as repeater. And so I connected to that. My internet issue was like almost completely fixed. Sure, it bugged out here and there, but it was so much better. I could maybe even play video games. But as to what I was doing that whole time is I was taking care of my family's house, and I was kind of just being a human, which is a phrase I've been saying a lot because I feel like my earliest years in school and in engineering, I've kind of sacrificed being human for better grades, for things like that, for actually having a weekend where I don't only do homework, for going out with friends, even at late nights, making bad, poor decisions with friends. And I was like drunk driving, but like, staying up later than I should, right? Going to do other things that may not be as immediately beneficial as studying or the other things, which is weird. It sounds suboptimal to make decisions like that. But anyways, I only did very little homework. I barely worked on my capstone at all. I just drew every day, all day. Like that was my main thing. I hung out with my sisters. I did chores, which gave me a nice sense of purpose. I fixed up my bird cam only for it to break again. But yeah, it felt great. It felt genuinely great. It was like the first time I could actually sit back and enjoy the world in like a year probably. Um, I do wish I was streaming. Because doing all that 50%, all that exploring and playing, and I picked up Krita. I did my first full rendered piece. I'd say my first drawing was the one of Gravel and Luca. But this is my first like one where I tried coloring and stuff. I'm not a huge fan of how it came out, but I wouldn't say I hate it at all. I stared at that drawing for over 20 hours, so I could pick it apart or not pick it apart quite well, but I could say the things I don't like. I couldn't tell you why for some of them. And I wouldn't trade it. I really wouldn't. It was a wonderful experience. And now, I would love to do more 50% on stream with you guys. Sure, I am trying to balance the time I spend doing lesson work because, like, I want to be done with lesson 6. I want to be done with Drawbox, but, and I really like the challenge here of drawing complex and difficult stuff and really tackling it. Not that I don't experience that while drawing for the sake of it. I just do like time specifically proctored to have an expectation for it to be broken and then to rebuild from that, right? Meanwhile, playing, there's really no expectations, right? It's just kind of go out and mess around. So, I love both of them. However, if I had to choose my time, I would choose Drawbox, which I know is very anti 50% rule. I'm evil, I'm sick and twisted. But yeah, it's just been a wonderful week. So much time to reflect. And like once again, just be human. Take care of my animals, take care of my family's house. I keep bringing that up because like having a chore kind of gives you a sense of purpose, right? Otherwise, I would have Been drawing all day. And actually, like, I felt like I made so much progress, not really with the quality of the drawing, but with me personally. Like, I picked up when I was feeling flustered or distracted. I picked up whenever I was feeling obsessed or a bit, not really caring. And I did the right things to accommodate for those. You know what? Like when it hit 9 p.m. and I really wanted to go and do the line work, I would just do a little bit of work and call it that, right? I would entertain that, very addictive part of my brain that wants to see the pretty drawing happen. But I'd also, fulfill the needs of me by not going too far, right? Basically, I just set myself up for success the next day, which I think is an excellent use of that energy. I think with how difficult the past 2 semesters have been and the study abroad, not that I'm complaining about it, I think it was a wonderful experience. I'm an extremely privileged person to be able to have that. Um, it's kind of only been work though, right? There hasn't been a point where I could just sit down, right? I wasn't doing something. I don't count streaming doing something. If I could stream every day and learn art and maybe help some people along the way, I think that would probably be awesome. Is that viable? I don't know yet, but it would be very nice. But that would require me for like streaming like probably 6 hours a day, more probably. I'm not sure if I could draw that long, or like, yeah. Well, I proved I drew that long for those. I guess I'm not sure if I could stream that long. That sounds a lot. I guess that's the barrier between a streamer and an entertainer and a guy who just streams for an hour and a half every night. But yeah, I feel like it was a reset. All this negative energy I had about myself, about the world around me. Sure, it like those beliefs and things still exist, but I feel like the presence of a break like that showed me how great life can be at times. And I think I really needed that reminder. I think having something like that, once again, which is a privilege, right? We can't all have these amazing days where everything works out and all that. I'm not saying I'm guaranteed those or deserving, but it was a blessing, right? That's the best way to put it. I've always, I'm a bit of a pessimist at heart. I know it could only get worse, right? Because like, it can, right? It can always get worse, but I forget that it could be better. And I should be more open to that possibility. Not naive sense, right? Like where, oh, but one day it could be better. I still feel like it's a little naive to assume that it will get better. Um, then again, at every point in my life where I've assumed that it won't ever get better, nice things happen. Not immediately. I wish immediately. But I've been historically proven wrong by life. When it could have reared its ugly head, it kind of turned around a little bit and gave me something new. Learning the different. I like doing the trial by fire with Krita. While I do still believe, I have a firm belief in penmanship and treating that as a separate skill, right? That you should hone. Technique is very important. I did like trial by fire when it came to Krita and learning all the tools, like separating colors onto different layers and finding the workflow that I like the most. Still discovering that, right? But I don't know. I for coloring, I split every color onto a separate layer. I don't know. I just when it comes to drawing, I mutability is a really important thing to me. Like I would like to be able to undo anything at any point, but like separately, right? Um, so like high in modularity. So like let's say I ink and everything's there, and then like a color, and then I don't like how piece of the body was inked. I don't have to undo all the previous colors. I just have to undo that portion of the body and recolor that portion of the body, if that makes sense, right? I don't have to reset all of my work because of one unrelated thing. And so that's why I feel like doing different colors on different layers gives me that isolation. And I saw a lot of Brent's coloring stuff, which looks great, but I don't totally want that style of shading and coloring. Um, I feel like that's a noob trap. It's like the assumption that you have to color and shade like he does, even though he has a huge, very vast and great background in character design and the fundamentals. I feel like whenever I first started drawing, when everyone's like, okay, draw a circle, I drew a circle, or they'd say draw a sphere, and I'll draw a sphere, what I thought. Like, okay, now put like a rectangle on this part of it. Now draw it, it wouldn't come out right. I wish as a kid I asked myself, well, why are we drawing a circle or a sphere, right? Why are we calling the circle a sphere? Because we believe it's in 3D space. That's why we did it. That's why whenever you're trying to draw characters, you do that. I wish, I wish someone told me that because I was just drawing the same thing over and over until it worked. Oof, that was rough. Let's work on my smaller circles, smaller high degree circles. Very nice precision, pretty bad accuracy. Oof. Alrighty, we'll call it there, everybody. Nice time for the song to end too. We're gonna head over to BRB. 2 minutes of ads. You know the drill. We're gonna come back and pick up the work on our tape measure. So be right back, everybody. Alrighty, we're back, guys. So, actually, I'm going to adjust my microphone stand just a little bit. So, guys, we have a lot of work to pick up. It's been a minute. In fact, I should have probably here. I'm going to go grab a piece of paper. So, I believe I should have watched the last stream to catch up. I believe we finished our ortho, though. I believe. What the heck is this line right here? What was I doing? what was the purpose of that? That's a good question, Cav. Let's see. That is the depth. It's an arbitrary one. It's probably the depth 4. This is a good page to have. This is a kind of good page to have. It's the depth for that. We want this one though. This is probably like the most important one. This one's like the least important. This one's not as important. Okay. So yeah. We want the depth for like the little hanging thing that's like right here on the tape measure. Which is arbitrary. It's less than an eighth. Much less than an eighth. And I think we kind of guesstimated it correctly right there. We have a lot of arbitrary lines here. That's okay. I think what we have to do is actually now draw it out, which I'm so not excited for. In fact, let's grab some of our tools for the job. And then once we have these done, I'll also pull out some of my French curves. Once we have these done, we can worry ourselves with the box. So hopefully we'll get this done this stream. If not, that sucks. Yeah, let's get started. Let's get our iconic sticky note. The pin that we've been using is drying out a little bit, so let's just be careful there. There we go. Ooh, awesome song. I wonder who made this playlist. Okay. Move my mic around a little bit. All of my setup is still a little bit whack. Because I moved, right? Not moved, but everything got moved around. Let's start choosing the things that we know we can use this on. So we know we can at least probably use it here, 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 definitely not here, probably not up there. Yeah, and you're like, Kavel, why not? Probably not up there. Because it's too big. Yeah, because it's going from 1/8, or that's gonna be 5/8, to our little gap over here. Oh, and that's just the height of it, right? So it ends. Where does it end? It ends at whatever this is. I think I said it's 5/16. My notes should be better, dude. Yep. Let's make sure we have 5/16 here. It's not looking like it. Come on, Cav. 5/16 is one less than 6/16, which is 3/8. So 3/8, 6/16. There we go. It goes all the way over there. Really, dude? I guess. Maybe if you're insane. Because yeah, this is what was the like simple? We used this 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4. So that'd make this an eighth from the quarter, which would make that 3/8 that it ended. 3/8. Yep. No. Okay. What's going on? Well, maybe the drawing's off actually. I hope. Oh, Cav, what did you do? Well, I know it's symmetric, so we'll just act like it doesn't exist. Here, are these symmetric? Did I ever decide on that? Well, we can do that actually quite easily, right? Because if we know it's symmetric about right here, which is the 1/8 mark, and it goes all the way out to whatever measurement this is, 1/16, which is really 15/16. So it'd be right here. That means it has a distance from going from 3/8 to 15/16. So that's a difference of 10/16 or 5/8. That's a really gross number to divide in half. That gives us 5/16 on each end. Wait, that makes sense actually, but whatever. So that means if we go over here from 10/16 to 10/16 or 3/8, 5/8. Yeah. And subtract that, we get the 5/16. So yeah, and we're just gonna assume that these are symmetric. I think that was like my intent there. Cool. But anyways, okay. That was all a very bad side tangent to explain that we can't go from what is 5/16, which is right here, all the way to there with this. Oh, we're so close, but it's just not going to be. So that one will have to be hand done. We could try to use a French curve. I don't think that's a smart idea, but it's an idea. I don't think French curves can do that because none of them are like consistent radii, right? I don't know how the math behind French curves work, but they do something. Trying to see. So yeah, we could at least do this one where we know we go from 1/8 to 1/6 over here, which is actually rather small, but I think I kept it that way anyways. And yeah, dude, I'm such a mess right now. Let's figure this out. Put this on the ground. Oh god, we're getting so messed up here. There we go. Cool. We could actually probably use a French curve for this one, because that one is not a uniform ellipse. So let's start it at least, right? So it's really an 1/8. I don't like that. That means we're going to be using probably one of these smaller ones. I'm not going to do the math to convert the ratio in my head. We're just going to do it here and do it live. It's slightly too big. This is perfect. 1/5, eh? Or 1.5. A. What did I say? A. Okay. And my sticky note is not sticking. That's like half of its purpose. That's rage inducing. Okay. Double triple checking. Yes. We go past the little fringe it has on the side. Nice. Okay, and then as for the center, I think these are gonna be the same radii. Nope. Yes, bad. Yes. Okay, cool. And that's the outer, and then we pick the inner. But we don't want to draw the full thing just yet because we have to respect these, right? We will draw the full thing because no, not really. We don't need to. Yeah, we won't. We can just pretend that they're divided all the way through, even though it like gets changed in the middle there. Shh, don't tell anybody. And then we need to draw the thickness for that. This will actually be a unique issue, but I'm not going to talk about it. Actually, yeah, it'll be a unique issue because if we choose a thickness on the diagonal, let's say like we choose it to be this thick. Oh no, that won't be an issue. Oh yeah, because like how do we find that thickness in the middle? We could probably use some weird stuff to find that. Unless we choose it arbitrarily. Oh no, because then you just find the diagonal where it touches the middle. Nope. Well, we know it'll cross right here at some point, and that's going to be the same height to width. So how would we transfer it to there? Because we're operating with perfect squares right now, so that kind of helps us do some funky stuff. I don't think we could do anything. So we'll just have to guesstimate it. Or just draw through, which I think drawing through it once and then actually inking it with a more solid line would be a better choice. So we'll draw through it once and then actually ink it next time. What that'll look like. We draw through it once very lightly. And then we actually ink it very heavily the next time. So. Nice. So now we need to choose the interior thickness. And while this seems very, yeah, we'll go all the way here. That seems better, right? So once again, we'll do the same. But this actually has a height, right? The lip has a little bit of a height to it on both ends. Ooh. Eh. Yeah, how are we going to do that? How did I plan? I planned it out somewhere. Because on that page I said that was like kind of important. What the heck? Where is it? Oh, wait, what? Oh, I'm just crazy. Crazy. I was crazy once. Okay. I mean, it's an arbitrary height, so it doesn't really matter. It's on our little invisible drop down that we're doing. I do hate how it's so arbitrary. Because we're drawing this on both the top and bottom, so I'd like to have some basis for it. We could do a third of a fourth, so a 12th. That would give us like an objective, because it looks like a third of a fourth. How hard would it be to map a 12th to these? Hmm. Yeah, that okay. I'll just leave that on my desk. Um, we'll just leave it to be arbitrary. Methinks. Oh, I never figured out this. Oh my god. Oh, Cav, I hate you. Dude, figure it out, man. Get it together. Yeah, because I wrote up here, it's just going to be arbitrarily picked. Um, I completely forgot about this region over here. Cav, you suck. I mean, I didn't completely forget about it. We did plan with this picking arbitrary points, but still, it kind of freaking sucks. Ugh, I hate this part of the process because it's forcing me to make decisions. I'm gonna try for a new sticky note, see if that one was just like deficient. I doubt it, but we'll see. Really freaking press it on there. Nice. Okay. Um, arbitrary. We're gonna ignore it. Hear no evil, speak no evil, whatever. We'll do the usual one pass and then another one. That was our light mode one. Now we do it laid on much harder. Ah, yeah, yeah. Went over again with that one. I'm just really good at that. Cool. I'll thicken this one up. Not gonna lie, I am so scared. So much could go wrong at any moment. See if we can French curve this one. I need like 4 more desks in order for this setup to be truly incomprehensibly disorganized. Yeah, I'm thinking this one. We do a little bit of this action, huh? Because, yeah, we're going to meet at the edge. Remember, we're not going all the way. Cav, don't go all the way. I mean, we can, actually. Nothing's stopping us. Yeah. Why are we even going all the way? Who cares, right? What? Why? Why is there an offset over here? Oh, I do remember. It's because there's a straight segment. Oh my gosh. Silly Cav. And just my annotations suck. Where does the straight segment start? 5/12, I bet. Yep. Oh, okay. These annotations are helping. 5/12 to 15/24. So 5/12 is slightly below a half. So I'll assume, and it's on the same line as that. So I'll assume this is the 5/12 without having to do much. But we also have this. So what's up? That's a third. 5/12 is in the middle. Eh? Yeah, okay. So this is 5/12. So we're going to be contacting right here. And then having the straight segment to the 7/12. No, 15/24 to put over here. Just right here. Because 15/24 is slightly bigger than 7/12, which would be this. So we're going to do that. So we're drawing from here. And where is it coming from? It's coming from a fourth right here, I think. It shares this fourth with that. It's not going to be the 8th, which is right here. What is this line? I think this line was just used for constructing 12ths or something weird. Yeah, because it passes through this, which is a diamond. So yeah, we probably use that for something else. Yeah, I could see where we dropped it. So, I think. Yeah. Alright, let's draw this line. Just gonna go up like this. It's not as curved as I want it to be. Oh, French curves are pretty epic. That almost gives the same vibe. So we're just gonna send it. Yoink. Yoink. Nice, nice. Oh, dude, we messed it up. Oh, we messed it up. Oh, God, it wasn't supposed to be a fourth. It was supposed to be 3/8. Oh, God. Welcome back, Cav. Oh, jeez. Okay, well, I have an idea. This is gonna take me a second, though. Beer back. This is going to be a special piece of paper. This paper will be our corrections. It's going to tell us everything that we messed up on here so we don't do it again for the actual drawing, because I'm not remaking this ortho. So we're going to just leave little notes for ourselves. You're going to ask Kavel, how will you leave notes? What method will you use? A red pen. And what we're going to do to make sure our notes align is we're going to kind of put it like in the smack of the middle of the dab. And we could put it like corner to corner. That'd help us align it a bit. And I'm going to draw little corners to help us make sure everything is relatively aligned. Kind of like those boards you had at school. When school started getting like the smart boards and you had to like touch the corners to calibrate them. So I felt like we had to calibrate those every single day. This is not supposed to end here. It's supposed to end at the 3/8. Not at the 1/4, but at the 3/8. This is going to be our corrections paper. We're not going to do redos at this point, but we still want to make sure that when we actually draw it, it's correct. I don't think that'll mess us up too much, but it is something like this mistake specifically will mess us up too much, but it is something to remember. Cool. Okay, Jesus Christ. It's so demeaning. It really is. Okay. Now we have this line to go from 5/12 to 15/24. That's a 15/24. Nice. Then that's going to go to 1/8, I believe, and land at the 2/3 mark, question mark? Yeah, that makes sense. Now we have a question to ask. How do we want to do this internal part? It's going to have some arbitrary lines. That's okay. I don't care. It seems the way I did this was divvying it in half. And then picking an arbitrary distance between them. And then intersecting with the 7/12 line. Yeah, I see. Okay. So we found the center of this. That's 7/12. Yeah, okay. That's 2/3. We found the center of this by drawing a diagonal. We do the same here. I'll just quickly find us the absolute center, the 16th. Nice. Now we can go diagonally. I'm going to use the longer ruler for this. Just to check with the page. Nice. Now we're going to choose an arbitrary distance. This will be part of our thickness. Um, Actually, we're gonna do it with the big ruler again because I want it to be straight. Not sure how thick to make it. We'll do that. Because we're going to have thickness on this side as well, so we don't want to be too greedy with it. Go across here. Take, should go all the way through. Nice. There we go. Getting a little bit messy over here, just a tiny bit. Nice. Now, how do we choose the slant? We just draw where it intersects the diagonal. So right here. That's a very dramatic slant, though. Because it would be here to here. And I don't like how dramatic that is. So I may do a line from here to here instead. Because then that would be right here. Right here. But we do want it to be aligned with that. I remember being very confident in the math for this, and I don't know how it's failed, but it did. I think my faulty assumption was that the 2/3 is the same distance from the 7/12, but that's 9/12, which is 2/3. What? And what was I? This should automatically be divided into halves. Because this is 2/3 or 2/12. 2/12, 2/12, 2/12. Boom, boom. But the 7/12 kind of messes stuff up. I see. I see. I say I don't care, and we just flip it, fib it, whatever it is, and send it. We just have to make sure that these are the same angle. Could make them go like this. I don't like that too much. I'd rather make it something normal to this, which would be this line, right? No. Be slightly more rotated up. So I'm going to do here to here. And an attempted parallel here to there. Connects at the bottom. So we'll see if that works. We'll continue with the rest now. This sucks. This sucks. Okay. We know we can complete this next part, which starts, we know we have a bit of an overhang. It starts at the 7/12 horizontally, goes down to the 5/12, hits the bottom at the 1/4 mark, which is right here because we messed it up. It hits the bottom at the 5/12, so we're going to be going right here. We start right here, so it only makes sense that we end right here. That looks good to me. Should be one of these sizes. There we go. Nice. Now we have to climb. Where are we going? We're going to the 1/6 up here. I think it's this. And over to 5/16. So this is 3/8. This is 1/2. So that's 5/16, right? Yes. So that's 8/16. Or no, sorry, that's a quarter. Sorry, quarter. Which is 4/16. 6/16. 5/16. Yep. Okay. So we're gonna go here to here. Vertically, that's still a 1/6, right? Yeah, because it's a third and that's half of it. Cool. Nice. What is that noise? Like something rattling in my wall. Huh, who knows? Still mad about that, but whatever. I've never cared in my life, actually. Okay. I wonder if this is big enough for the 16ths. Because it should be going from here to... Oh, it's just too small, I think. Because that's the 1/8 off. Oh, man. Oh, man. Who only goes up to 125? Go up to 25. 1.25. Come on, man. Oh. Once again, I've never cared. We're now going to go over here. Return to the 1/6. I did make it go all the way up to the 1/3, but I changed my mind, so that changes a little bit of the geometry. That means we're now going from the 1/6 to the half. 1/6 to the half. A little bit above the half, but we're already taking so many liberties. Who cares? And we're going to be ending right here then. Straight goes from 1/3 to half. That's falsehoods. Now it's a 6th, unless we want to adjust it, which that's another thing that we can adjust. Just like it looks so square over here. It is. So like it's either change it to let's see, we've doubled, so that means we would have to start at a 4th. And if it started at a 4th, that means it starts right here, which it doesn't. Almost does. It's really close, but it's not. So we can make that decision in corrections as well. But for right now, let's make this line. Actually, I'm going to turn on my AC. I'll be right back. Just realized I hit the wrong button. Anybody is here, they probably scared him for a second. Okay. Let's get back to it. Okay. The stream is over already. What's up, MCal? Nothing much. Or nothing much. Why did I say that? Yeah, stream's not over just yet. We have a lot more to do. How's it going? I am debating slowly if we change it to this. The thought. It really is. Thesis due next week. Crunch time. Whoa. And then it's over. Hopefully. Well, best of luck, Macau. Is it going well? I remember you reported good progress last time. Last stream. Or whatever stream recently it was. Okay, here comes the part I'm dreading, which is the ellipse. See if we can get some French curves to help us out. We'll make some section cuts for the sake of time. Gotcha. I'm going to draw this through because it helps me. And I don't know why I avoided the first time, probably just for the sake of looking nice. It's well underway. It's under something. It's under a lot of stress. That's what it is. But we're working on it. We're slowly but surely making progress. I have a plan. I've already made a couple mistakes already, but we're offloading that to a little piece of tracing paper so I know what to do when we actually get to it, of the things to fix, right? So not constantly redoing stuff. We're making it through, slowly but surely. Nice. Okay. We are now going to figure this out. So that it has to go up there, and French curves aren't, uniform, but we could try to get something somewhat like that. In fact, I have an extra piece of tracing paper, so knocked over my water bottle for the 100th time. Let's just, because we want an ideally a perfect ellipse, right? Draftsman podcast while I work, yeah. I can't use it as background stuff because I want to like understand and parse what they say, and I have a very like linear brain, so I have to like really focus up for those guys. I can't have it as background stuff, but it is great stuff. It is really good stuff. Oh wait, there's a straight segment. Pause. We almost messed this up really bad. I think. Did I mean from that third up? Not really. I think I'm trolling. I'm gonna put my phone there. There we go. Now the paper's scrunching up. That's really crappy, but I kind of got my idea across of what I want it to look like. What is the creaking? Is it the wind? I don't know. So now you're like, Kavel, why did you do that? Because first I'm gonna cap my pen before I like accidentally make a mark on the page and cry. I marked the page. So I could do this. I could gauge with the page how I want to do this curve. So that seems adequate. And then over here, we're having too much of a turn that we can't properly estimate it with just the French curve, right? But we can get close. So if we approximate stuff, we can like get it accurate here, get it accurate here, get it accurate here. So what I'm gonna do is I think I'm gonna break it up into segments. Doesn't blend with my own work tones. Makes sense. Yeah, actually, now that I think about it, whenever I like edit videos, I can't have stuff in the background because I need to be listening to the video itself, unless it's like the effects part of the video. So the fact that you're blending, being able to listen to something and then do that is pretty impressive. Definitely not thick enough. Yeah. Probably should have started with this one so I could easily flow from it. That looks a lot better. So we're gonna stick to that. Trying to get some like I'm deciding, I'm trying to do like branch method or just continuing my line, right? Um so making some hard decisions is how I want to do this because I feel like using a tool like a French curve is helpful. But I want the like it to feel like it has 20 different like slopes if that makes sense in the middle. I want it to be a rather uniform feeling thing. Nice. Nice. Other than that stupid straight line that I hate. That bird that I hate. It's tough though, doing it with the French curve. It works, but it's tough. Requires a lot of focus. That turned out much better than I thought it would. It looks like a little elephant. We need to fix that, of course, but I think that turned out okay. French curves, shout out, dude. I need to use this more. Okay, cool. I'm glad I found a technique with a French curve that works. So, we just have the tape itself. We have the measure. Now we must get the tape. It is lined about the center, and it's goes to here, to here, to here, and to here. And we have the especially difficult job because the lips guide does not go that large. It's slightly too small. Almost angrily, it's only an eighth of an inch off, which is just yeah. Um, there will never be a perfect ellipse guide, I guess. I don't know. Uh, so I have to figure out how we're gonna do this because I could like do like the general outline of how I'd like this to look and then go in with that, but it's messy. But I feel like if I go in just with the French curve alone, I'm gonna mess some stuff up pretty bad. Hmm. I We're gonna move this for now. Ay, 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 ay. I think I just bent the page. Ooh. Okay. Yeah, I did bend the page. Oh, that's so rage inducing. Whatever. It's a bit low, but that works. Okay, cool. That feels almost okay. I mean, all things considered, this is a little bit scuffed. But we're not going to touch it too much. Don't want to mess it up completely. Our job now is just to make it feel cohesive. This sucks. This sucks so bad. Oh my god. Okay. Oh crap, dude. Oh. It's already so messed up right there. Weird take on this, but it's not the end of the world, but it ain't pretty, that's for sure. Everybody give me a quick ooh. Almost lost all my papers. Be right back. I was just about to brag that I was like, oh, I pressed the right button that time, and I pressed the wrong button. So, where's my pen? Let's get back to it. Ooh, this isn't horrible, but it ain't. Like I said, it ain't pretty. I'm slowly gathering the techniques to do better, though. Like branching method, we're gonna actually start from the line we just drew. Does it mean we have to care about two lines at once? Yes. Um, there are worse fates, though, I think. So yeah, now we're gonna pivot off that one and continue. It's happening though, that's for sure. It sucks. It's ugly. But it's there. So that's nice. We ought to now get started with the decisions on the thickness around the whole thing. Because we have to draw a thickness around it. Where is that helpful paper I was talking about earlier? Here we are. This tells us the thickness of everything and where it ought to happen. Which we have, means we have even more curves to worry ourselves with. But we're going to map it here because then it becomes easier to make those decisions later. That's the whole point of doing an ortho, right? So we're going to start. And then, yeah, the easiest ones to make, of course, are the straights. So we're going to start with the straights. So actually, we don't have any thickness once we go past here, and that's an arbitrary point. So we are going to start the straight here, the straight here, the straight here, here, and finish that up. And then we'll do those curves. And then we'll be done with those. That's like one of the hardest parts, if not the hardest part. So let's get to it. As for the thickness, like I said, it's arbitrary. Let's say this is a 16th and a 6th. Or it's an 8th. I think it's a 16th. Yeah, because I could fit 8 here. So this is a 16th. So I think I want to go for like an 1/8 of that. So 100 and... Oh, no. 8 times 16. 80 plus... Yeah, 120... Am I tripping? I'm blanking on my math on stream, which is embarrassing. 48. 128. Yeah. Okay. 128. And we're not actually drawing that, right? We're just going to guesstimate. So we're going to go half. And we would do it over here. I'm going to do it over here. So half, that gives us a 32nd half, 64th half. That's 128th. And we're going to then use the page itself to have that thickness in here. Nice. Then this is practically the same, so we might as well just use it. And we'll just kind of guesstimate if that feels correct. There we go. And there goes some of the easier parts. We're now going to pick it up over here. It's an 8. That was practically 100. That's actually a 64th-ish, but we're going to guess right here. This song reminds me so much of Freerin. Right here. Thankfully, in the ortho, we won't actually see this totally, so we're just going to act like it disappears right there. I mean, yeah, we get a line that goes like this to it, So technically we have a cylinder that we have to draw around. Ooh, that changes the game a little bit. I'm gonna ignore it. We're just gonna pretend like it doesn't exist. I'm done. Guys, there's only so much I can do in one drawing. If this is weakness, then let me be weak. Nice. And we'll finish up a little bit more of this. I feel like it. We'll probably avoid this one, and I'll leave that for next stream. Haha, future Kavel get wrecked. It's funny how I was like baby raging earlier about future Kavel, and now I'm like, haha, future Kavel get wrecked, or past Kavel. Endless cycle of violence between my current self and my future self. It's really just a war of attrition. That's nice. Look at that, guys. Oh, we'll do another one. You're right. Actually, this I don't think can be done with our ellipse guide, because I don't think there's one. There's a smaller ellipse than this one. Oh my gosh, wait, that works. Why does that work? I mean, it kind of works. We'll take it. Ravishing. Wow. And also, what's up? It's been a minute, and it's very late for you, isn't it? hope you're doing well, Dio. Glad to see a familiar face, for sure. Oh, that's so bad. Oh no. I got distracted by Dio's flattery and messed up my line. Let's see if we can recover that a little bit. Oh, goodness. Long time indeed. You're okay? That's good to hear. I'm suffering, as you can tell. Ah, whatever. Oh, there's never a win here, really. There never is. I kind of fixed it, so. Oh goodness. Well, you're catching us at an awkward time because we're almost done for the night, Dio. We're about to log off. Nice. Cool, cool. Oh goodness. Okay, so we're gonna call it there, everybody. Good work. No, your tournament. Oh well, I hope you did well in your tournament. Oh, in Berlin. Oh heck yeah. Well, I hope you did well. And don't worry, I haven't been streaming for the past week because I was on spring break, so kind of works out. Second, heck yeah, dude. Great freaking work. In Berlin, nonetheless. That sounds so fancy. Heck yeah, well, good work. Why didn't you get for nothing? Awesome stuff. Well, I hope you feel like you had a great time. I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope everyone else enjoyed the stream, including Dio, I guess. But yeah. So we're going to wrap it up here, everybody. We're going to be streaming at a pretty normal schedule throughout this week. I would like to finish up the tape construction, do a couple streams of 50%, and then jump into our next construction because, man, these take some freaking effort. I haven't felt this much strain since lesson 2. Um, yeah, so once again, thank you all for joining me tonight. Thank you, Dio and MCal. I can't wait to see you guys sometime in the future. Bye for now.